DOR, I can get a temporary license for beer and wine, no problem, but I have to be a nonprofit to sell liquor. How does that make any sense?
So the liquor piece, I don't know. I don't know that part.
I mean, I'm like, I told my DOR guy, I'm like, alcohol's alcohol. And he's like, well, the laws are 50 years old, so a nonprofit can sell liquor, which to me, you're right, has more risk to it.
A lot of it is going back to what we were talking about.
You get drunker way faster on liquor than you would on beer, but a nonprofit can just sell it, no problem. Their permit's $35, but mine's only $10.
Yeah. Most of this goes back to, I know Brian's talked about it before, but all these laws around alcohol come from after Prohibition. And so that's probably just another great example of one that just was written that way in the 70s or 60s and just never been changed. But no, I mean, like I said, there's all sorts of oddities about sampling stuff. So for example, and I'm not going to brag about drinking, but let me give you an example of an actual hearing we had. So I was on judiciary for one term, and we talked about increasing the tasting. This was actually the Gallo bill. So one of the things Gallo asked for was the tasting when it was like 2 ounces. They wanted 4, I think that was, or 3 to 6, or something like that. And one of our members literally was putting up amendments in committee and said, look, 4 ounces of alcohol will completely get you wasted.
I don't think it would get you wasted, but at that point it's not a tasting.
But my point there is, think about how ludicrous that is. All of us that have ever drunk alcohol know that's not
Is you talking about one drink, or if you're testing 8 different?
This was one drink.
Okay.
And like, just to put you in the spot of, you would be shocked at the debate when we deal with alcohol. It is, like I said, there is a, Sandy can attest to this, I know she had to leave, but there is a built-in, I would say, who are prohibitionists. They might not say it out loud, but they might as well be, because they don't want to change anything about alcohol laws that ever could mean that 1 more ounce can be poured. We give an example, a similar industry, so hemp drinks, THC drinks, so not CBD, THC infused drinks. So we're trying to find a way to put an age restriction on that, because technically anyone can buy those. It's not illegal to sell that to a minor, because there's no laws around it. Now, most places selling them do ID, but there's no actual law that requires them to do that. And so what you have is you'll have a random gas station in the country that will sell this to kids. They have different potencies, anywhere from 1 joint to 5 joints. Very different from alcohol. They typically have a much longer lag time before you start to feel effects. They're all different. So trying to find some way to put an age restriction on it and how we would regulate that industry so that it has some rules around it. We actually had a group of members who also, I would call, in that camp of they don't want ever any more alcohol ever under any circumstance, will not vote for any regulation bill unless it completely bans everything. So, and I know that seems odd, like to those of us who might live a different life. It's real. Like one of my old jobs, I used to be the chief whip, so my job was just to count the votes. And what the twist arms, it was to know, do we have the votes to pass this or do we not? And if we don't, let's not waste 4 hours on it just to vote it down. We can, it's to help run the calendar. And, I used to always say, if it had the word alcohol in the bill, that's a day. Don't even try to do another bill that day, because you can guarantee it. You can guarantee it. It is, another great example. So my previous subcommittee I was chair over was sales use, income, and excise taxes. So any bill that dealt with all those. So Philip Morris has a new product that's called heated tobacco. So it's not a cigarette, it's actually tobacco you heat. It looks like it's in a vape, but it's actually a tobacco stick. And on the continuum of risk, it's actually a lot less risky than a cigarette, it's less risky than a cigar, it's less risky than chewing tobacco. And so they came to us and asked, could we have an incentive by the excise tax? So since it's, I don't want to use the word healthier, but less risky than the other ones, can we have a discount on the excise tax so that it's cheaper than a pack of cigarettes, so that someone who's on cigarettes might try it, and it's healthier? So we had that debate. I had members voting against that bill just because they didn't like cigarettes. I'm like, but you don't realize you're actually making people only smoke cigarettes. The logic of that didn't wrap around of, well, if you don't like cigarettes, why are you making towards the only option? Like that. But I just think I give that as an example. You know, people don't have to be logical, and it's just
Apparently not.
it's different. I mean, look, the General Assembly is 124 random people, and if you met them, you would realize it's a cross section of the state. Are there more lawyers in any profession? Absolutely. But we got preachers and old people who are retired from 10 years earlier. We've got realtors and college professors and random people. You know, we're part-time. We're not full-time like Congress. We all have different jobs. We have to have another job. And so because of that, you know, you get characters. I'll just say that. I'm proud to serve with them because, look, doing this job is not easy. You're away from your family and all that stuff, away from your job for most people. But, you know, it's different people. Well, if no other questions, I'll hang out here as long as anybody wants to talk. So I'll hang out a little longer or until Scott tells me to leave. So, yes, sir?
I'm with Jackson.
Yes, sir.
28 years. I have all pretty much realized. I've had record liability for several years. A friend of mine running a business in Blockade, he had somebody come in one day, the guy looked straight at him and he has one next to him goes down the road and has a car accident. I looked at blood alcohol levels, so they come back and see him. So I've had that for many years. Last year, my insurance for Berkshire Hathaway was $35,000 for the year. The year before that, it was $24,000. Liquor liability was $3,500. This year, they priced me at $30,000. And then my general liability workman comp, an underground storage tank, was $35,000 last year. This year, they priced me at $69,507. And then priced me $30,000 for liquor liability. So that's $99,500. That's small business, family owned. No way you can. There's no way you can do that. And the cheapest insurance I found for my business was $49,000. Had to be all paid overnight. And I had to get the liquor liability from out in Arizona to another broker. I ended up getting a good price on liquor liability there. There's just no way a small business can keep afloat. You talk to some of the bigger guys, big chains, and they are being forced to self-insure because the rates are so high. Even them, they can't pay like this and own 50 stores. So it's become a major problem for the small business. How much longer we're going to be able to hang on?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about that last year about just what they were, your increase. And I agree. And it's not, like I said, it's a statewide thing. And so, you know, it isn't just one person feeling it, it's everybody. And we can't figure out how to get it to stop. I don't know. It's not sustainable. And it's going to have a breaking point.
Is it true that insurance companies, they can basically, like on car insurance, they only have a certain percentage that each agent can charge, but property insurance, like what we have on liquor liability, property insurance, the agent can actually up the actual rate.
I don't know that answer. I have to figure that out. I don't.
That's what we run into a lot. What I feel like we're running into.
Yeah. I don't know that.
That's what I feel like. Because the rich over 1 year should not go up $40,000. Somebody that's low.
If you can give me your phone number, I'll call and try to figure that out.
Do they start to
I don't know that.
say like 40% of their
So,
income?
in your opinion, and this is purely an opinion question, do you feel like it's possible that this insurance rate increase
discount.
And all of this going on is essentially circumvented enforced prohibition. Because they can't
That's why
say,
this-
hey, we're doing
it doesn't
prohibition
really-
because it'll never pass. Because you were talking about like the people who were like, I'm not even going to listen to the law because it has to learn alcohol,
But
or
it-
I'm not going to do this
it's
because it has tobacco, even if it's going to help people get off cigarettes.
Hey, no, because this is an industry, because you're fighting between insurance companies who want someone to insure
This one,
and attorneys who need
I
someone to sue. Prohibition would get rid of both of those.
Well, that was going to be my question.
Like you have
Is
to eat
it could also be like a meet in the middle thing. Like you're making this party over here happy, who are trying to get
you
to
know what I
the
mean.
point where they're going to get out as many alcohol distributors and bars and such as possible. But then you're also making these people over here happy because they can make money off of all of these other people that they can sue. And and hike up insurance rates. So these people have less alcohol, and these people are making the money.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe.
I just think we're trapped between two industries that are making a fortune, and I don't think they have any. They want to keep making the money they're making. That's what I think.
I think it's agreed though.
I mean, it's 90%. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I mean, I can't prove that, but that's what I think it is. Well, thank y'all so much. I'll hang out here till Scott tells me to leave.